This is not a win. This is Bobby Kotick becoming even more obesely wealthy since he is paid in stock. Microsoft directly rewarded the CEO for abusing his employees. Bobby had two choices prior: resign or be eaten alive by his workers. This is the worst possible outcome for the Blizzard that people actually love. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you magnificent beast. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments at the start of these videos. I'm going to be a little bit of a bearer of bad news unless you were an Activision stockholder, but for the rest of us, there was no way Bobby wasn't walking out of this profiting like crazy. When in fact, even from Alex over at GameBiz UK, tweeted this out based off of Bobby Kotick's employment statement. You can see here, termination by Activision Blizzard without cause or termination by employee for good reason following a change of control, aka an acquisition, aka Microsoft buying them. This is contractually obligated. This is negotiated just under $300 million just for this event alone, and that does not include their stock offerings and so much more. And honestly, the first and only question that really comes into my mind that I want to know with you guys, what is your number? What is your number? My number would be 5 million. And I know that might seem low, that might seem high, but 5 million for me just seems like it's this ludicrous amount of money that I could live off of probably for the rest of my life. I think that actually is the statistical amount, $5 million, and you're set and you've made it in terms of, like, I guess, winning, so to speak. 300 million, and that's not counting the stock offerings, that's not counting bonuses, that's not counting this next year. Like, clearly I think Bobby is easily walking away from this entire ordeal a billionaire, if not a half a billionaire, which he probably is already clearly doing very well for himself. And I know that probably doesn't sit well with a lot of people who haven't like Bobby. I haven't been a fan of Bobby at all. I'm very happy, and hopefully we'll see him quietly exit video gaming for the long run. But here's also another bitter swallowing pill. That's a great and awful way to say that. The easiest way to kind of focus in on this is that he's now has a massive proven record in terms of making companies money. So even if he decides that he doesn't want to own a private island, he's not going to be done. He can go and pretty much work for anybody who he wants to work for. And there's really, unfortunately, nothing that we can do about it. I'm sorry that I'm a bearer of bad news, but like, this is obscene. Like, I don't even know what I would purchase with 300 million. Like, what do you do the day that check clears, right? Like, you just, I don't even know. Let me know what you guys would do, how you would spend your 300 million Microsoft just bought me contractually money, because that you can just toss that away. That was just some kind of contract line. Anyway, I want to jump into a couple other comments and talk about them, especially as it relates to this deal. Now, GT Pro writes, plus they're about to get sued for antitrust consumer laws, and you can believe that. And I, again, bearer of bad news. That's what this video might end up being called. No, they're not going to get sued for antitrust as it relates to Activision Blizzard. The gaming industry is both too large and vast, and this doesn't essentially give them a monopoly. And also, that is going to vary country by country, but Microsoft already has a habit of publishing their games on like Xbox, platforms, PlayStation specifically. And I think essentially what you'll end up seeing is most likely multiplayer games end up being everywhere, because that just makes sense from a financial perspective. And then single player games, they might try to lock those down. So something where you would see PC and Xbox kind of, being the home for it. So there's really, I don't think, a huge area of antitrust as it relates to Activision Blizzard, especially with entertainment as a whole, especially when you factor in Sony, Tencent, Nintendo, Amazon, Google. So like, there's big players in the space. This doesn't give anybody a winning, authority in that regards. Now, Hey Kasami says, let's address the elephant in the room here, which people seem to ignore. All Microsoft games are UWP. That's Universal Windows Platform. That's what it means from a developer's perspective. That means no mods, plugins, injectors, trainers, or anything. Third-party related programs. This complete opposite of what Valve is doing in their game. If we allow Microsoft to become bigger, we can kiss modding goodbye. And well, at the end of the day here, I don't think any of us have any say unless you're a big, you're somebody who sits on a massive amount of shares at Activision or Microsoft. This is pretty much probably going to go through without too many hiccups. What I personally would bet on more is that you start to see, I don't know if Google's going to do anything, because Google could have done something more, but they just kind of seem fine where they're at, sitting just comfortably in their weird Stadia space. But not Activision, Amazon seems probably like them. I'm expecting to see if they decide to pull the trigger and purchase any other like big studios in defense of what they're trying to build over there with Luma and their games division. But we'll ultimately wait and see how big or how interested they are in going toe to toe with Microsoft, who in this case, like that's what we're looking at, almost 80 billion spent right now on acquisitions, and I don't think they're done any which way. But on to modding and things like that, yeah, I think there's big concerns with that. I know a lot of people had that actually concern with cloud gaming, especially as it relates to PC gaming specifically. But Microsoft is also publishing their games over on Steam, and I think that's a good move. I think essentially letting players play your games where you want, and what this really would more impact, as opposed to like Microsoft games specifically, is I would say that it would be like if you're on Game Pass, yeah, you're probably not modding those games, but if you go purchase the game like on Steam or another platform, you probably will be fine. I don't see a massive impact that this would have on the modding community specifically, but I could be wrong. Like ultimately time will tell. Sometimes changes like this are very subtle, and then down the line they roll out, and that's when they end up you look back and you realize like, oh my gosh, we have no mods, no abilities to do any of these things anymore. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. I just wanted to kind of highlight some of those comments. I think it is just insane to see that kind of money. I'm not gonna fault him for it. Like, he got paid, and hopefully you can too. I don't know. I hope everybody could someday wake up to like obscene paychecks, and hopefully they do good things with it. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was just ridiculous. I thought it was just very curious. I also thought that like people thinking that this isn't going to go through due to antitrust. I don't think that's going to play out in the long run, but who knows? We'll find out. It's going to be an interesting year. 2022 is already kicking off with lots of crazy stories. Let me know if you'd like me to discuss any of them in the comments. Look forward to hearing your thoughts, and thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video, but until then, take care.
I just want to say I'm really glad you're feeling better, and I love the videos. Well, I love you too. Michelle? Shoot for the moon, and so even if you fail, you'll reach the stars. Go for the 100K subscribers. Yeah.